Thank you very much. Thank you very much once again. Welcome back to this meritocratic channel of ours. Called here today, we are going to this is N6, and please ensure that we've got what we call a lecturer's guideline, which is one of the privileges that we have here at MATRIC+NATED Specialist with the content and the content 3, which entails of the memorandum. They are further explained using this context that it is going to be supported in. Remember, when we are talking about module 3, we talk about the personnel in municipal administration. So here we will be looking on who is there as a personnel or an official working in the municipality. And then we are saying after we have completed this, we are saying that we will note that the personnel of personnel administration in the municipal administration, explaining for personnel system and their advantage and disadvantage. We will look at where we are describing the acts of parliament that influences the personnel administration. And then we will see that later on we will discuss and explain the relationship between councillors and officials. And then we will describe the importance of the personnel function. And then we will further state and explain the personnel policy and influence on the municipal personnel administration. And we are going to understand the staff establishment and the importance of creation post. And then we will look at the procedure of requirement for the selection of the candidates that must work in the municipality. We will further describe the procedure used for or transfer of the employees. They move from this post to the other, from this area to the other, and will explain the purpose of induction, training, development, and by referring to the methods used, and we'll explain the importance used and methods of performance appraisal when the worker is done well in the municipality. And then we'll explain the utilization of the personnel, and then we'll explain the reason why services of employees can be terminated, and we will further look at the explanation of the concept of the labor relation, and then we will describe the code of conduct and its content in South Africa. So those are the things that we will look at, and we will further explain them without wasting any time. Let us get the show rocking. Subscribe and tell those who are concerned. Okay. And then here, what is going to happen is that you are advised to go and download a Z83 application form and complete the re-advertise on an advertised post when you want to apply in the municipality. So we are saying that a question can arise to say, this post was found in the public service vacancy circular. So remember that when a municipality or when the state is ensuring that is taking out post to the public, what is going to happen is that they will stipulate this information to the circular, and which was it was in circular 12 of 2030, and they say list methods that can be used to recruit external official. So we are saying that the government on how to recruit the external people. It means now, how can they do that? The media advertise, they put the post or the job on the newspaper. That is number one. Number two, professional journals, an example, engineered journals. Number three, they visit tertiary education institution or exhibition. We see them on campuses. Number four, public relation approach. They have an open days displays or exhibitions so that the people they can go there to inquire. Number five, they allow walk-ins where people from the street inquire about the employment opportunities, and then the recruitment agency who can do the primary interviews, and then they are social media recruitment through the internet. They advertise that a post in a public institution is advertised on a circular, and these are the methods that can officials from the external they are absolved, which it can be for 12 marks. This question, it is indeed for 12 marks. Take note of that. If we are moving on, we can see that We've got number 3, which can derive to say what information should be included. So please take note of this following word: included in a newspaper advertisement. So this is the newspaper advertisement. The municipality or the officials, they will advertise the job to the Gazette, which is a newspaper. And we are saying that in the newspaper, there are items or informations. When they are advertising the job, they must name the council concerned to say this is the Department of Education, the job title, salary, and benefits offered, to say that this is an office administration and the salary is 120,000 per annum, an indication of what the post entails, what is it that you are going to do, just a brief scenario of what you are going to do, and then the qualification required for the candidate to occur. We are saying it can be a diploma or a degree, and then we are saying the contract details of the person dealing with the applications, and then lastly, the closing date of the application, and then it can be asked for the maximum of 12 marks. As we are moving on, we are to see that we can go to number 4, and then when we are into number 4, we can see that the question in number 4: by studying the advertisement drawn up a duty street, the line of duty of human, which is a resource clerk. So we are saying that we want here all the duties, the functions that a human clerk has where on the workplace. We are saying that he's important because of he possesses this trade. He handles all the personnel administration and matters pertaining to appointment, probation, and leave. This personnel will tell you when is your leave, and then you've got appointments to the doctor, and then he will know, and then the probations, he will also, or she will know. He compile monthly statistics and reports on how the organ of the state is functioning, and it deals with the transfer of the secondments, promotions, notch progressions, and service termination. When you want to retire, when there's an adjustment of your salary, and then it deals when you are transferred from one place to the other due to the injury, on duty services of termination. And then we are saying the administration of salary and employees' benefits. He possesses that particular trade. And then we are saying he receives application and assists with shortlisting of the new people. And then he takes meeting during the interview, during when these proceedings of meetings are taking place. He will be writing the meetings, or she will be writing the meetings. And we are saying the clerk resource is any lawful duties allocated by the supervisor. He must also do any of those that is instructed to do by the supervisor, and assist with attending of HR human related queries. And then we are saying this can be a maximum of 14 marks. So ensure that you are taking these 14 marks. If we are going on again, we'll see that we are after the closing date, the selection process will begin. So we are saying after you've submitted all the CVs in the municipality, there will be a time that there will be a selection process. So it means those candidates that they've got a particular trait of which that are wanted by the municipality, they will begin to be selected. And the question that can arise in 5.1, discuss the steps in selection process that can be undertaken to find a suitable. All we look at the steps these officials so that they find a duty and will suit the post must be taken to precaution. So these steps, how does the municipality do that? The applicants tested against the requirements specified for the post, and candidates who should not meet the requirements are taken out. So you'll write aptitude test and all these tests based on the requirement of that particular function that they are looking. Number 2, suitable candidates who meet the requirement are identified. And then we are saying applications are verified by checking authenticity of qualification and testimonials. And then we are saying the references must be of who are invited to withdraw candidate, and the vacancy exists. The formal interviews, the board council, which it can be for 40 marks. Okay. And then if ever we are moving on again, we are to see that we're pertaining to this work. Ensure that you are subscribing as we are going through this journey together, and you are also telling others. 2, this is the question. So let us analyze the question. To draw up a short list of candidates, a sifting process will take place. What are the requirements for the candidate to be considered for this post? So we are saying that the requirement considered, they should be stipulated to say that we need these qualifications so that you meet the criteria and the requirement. And the one, you've got a grade 12 or relevant, you've got an experience 2 to 5 years in human resource field, and then you've got a good communication skills, and then you've got a good interpersonal relation and organizational skills. You are computer literate, the ability to interpret HR policies and prescriptions, the knowledge of the PERSAL system, and the ability to work with confidential information. So you need to be having these traits, and then that it would be for 16 marks. Okay. As we move on again, we are to see that we are going to 5.3, whereby the question, I want us to analyze it together. List 3 different types of interviews, the keywords interviews that can be used during an interview. So we don't just interview, but officials, they've got techniques on how the interview should be conducted and what type of interview it must entail for that particular reason. So these types of interviews, we are having the first of all, the planned or structured interview. We are saying this one is specific format and question to be asked are planned in advance by the interviewer. Unplanned or unstructured interview, we are saying there is no format or prepared questions for that interview. And we've got standardized interview. We are saying standard questions used, whereby to cope with pressure. And then interview, we are saying the interviewer gets informed simultaneously, and the panel interviewers, candidate, they are many, is the panel of people. It would be even for question that they like to ask. If we are moving on again, we would see that in 5.4, we are to identify the types of tests that can be given to candidate. When we are analyzing the question, we are saying different types of what? Of tests. Those are the keywords that can be given to the candidate to ensure that they meet the criteria. They must have a performance test. So this is used to measure if the applicant can do the job. An example can be the typist. Intelligence test to measure the intellectual capability of the applicant. An aptitude test to measure the ability to master a specific task. And then we've got the trade test, the test, the ability of the applicant to master a specific skills. And then we are saying a personality test to establish where the applicant personality is compatible with an organizational culture. And then a test used for school leavers to determine their interest. So we are saying that these are the types of tests, and then we are saying they can be asked for the maximum of 12 marks. Then we move on again. If we are to see that we are taking number 6, although successful candidate will meet the requirements for the post. So we are giving a phrase there. Although the successful candidates will meet the requirement for the post, he or she obtain what? To obtain training, the skills required to do the job. So we are saying that when you are appointed, you must be trained, and then you must be allocated, given somebody to show you how it's done in that particular sector. So the question, let us analyze. Give the purposes of the further training for the staff. Why is the purpose? Number one, to complete the selection process, as the new recruits do not always have all the necessary skills and the knowledge required for the job. So you need a mentor. Number two, it serves as a motivational factor to the official who will, after training, be a better position to help achieve. And then we are saying the third aspect ensures that the officials has the necessary skills and the knowledge to do his or her work. And then the other one eliminates mistakes, as the official will know what and how and when to do the job. And then the last factor, money, man hours, time and materials are saved if officials are trained to function productively, and that it can be for 8 marks. If we are going on again, we are to see that we still have some other important aspect that we must cover. And then here we are going to check. These are the list and briefly describe the type of training. So this question can arise to say, here you need to identify and then you need to explain. So here are the types of training. We've got in the workplace an orientation or an induction, which is number one. And then number two, we have an in-service training on the job training, which is number two. And then we are having what we call a monitoring, which is number three. And then we are having development training, which is number four. We have vocational training, which is number five. And then we've got the vestibule training, which is the last one, is this number six. So you need to differentiate between these types of training, and then you need to know how do they differ. An orientation or an induction, we are saying a new employee is welcome a new recruits and introduce them to the organization and the colleagues. And then the manager, the new recruits are informed about their lines of communication, the rights and the duty, conduct, and the general rules of the organization. Then number two, an in-service training or on-the-job training, it is when the new recruit is shown and trained by the mentor to do his specific job. And then number two, to teach the new recruit the correct methods and the procedure on how to do the job. Then there is a monitoring, which is a type of training. The manager provides guidance to the junior manager on how things are done. And then the development training to improve the existing skills or to introduce new skills to the official. So we are saying this type of training, they like to do it a very lot because of officials, they must be trained as well to know about the existing skills. And then we are saying the senior official, they attend courses on leadership, merit ranging, and etc. And the staff attend computer courses, how to write reports and etc. And then we are saying we've got the vocational training. We are saying a training of official apprentices and technicians to improve their knowledge. It is used, and then it is done at the field by the employer, study, improve their skills to obtain higher qualification. And then we've got the vestibule training, when the large number of officials have there, and then all the staff waiter program will be trained. And then that it is for a maximum of 20 marks. Please ensure that you know this by heart. Analyze now the question. The question would arise and to say, for the official to be promoted, so it means he has worked well, to be promoted, his or her managerial skills need to be developed from a junior level, and now you are going to being becoming a manager. So we are saying here there must be a development in your skills, and then we are saying list the skills and the methods that they can be used to develop the staff. And then number one, the skills that they can be taught, it is the decision making, which is the case study methods, in buckets technique methods, and the business game methods. Number two, we've got what we call interpersonal skills must be also enhanced. So interpersonal skills, the role playing method must be enhanced, and the sensitivity training method. And then we are saying the job knowledge should also be enhanced to ensure that there is an in-service training, which is a practical for 1 year, 6 months. On some other institutions, they define the time range, the coaching and counseling is done, and the understudy method. If we are moving on again, we can talk about the organizational knowledge, and then we are talking about the job rotation and multiple management. Then if ever we can talk about the general knowledge, we talk about the special courses and the seminars that they can take place. Okay. And then if ever we can move on again, we have to see that we can go to number 7, the performance appraisal. We are saying if ever a candidate or the worker has worked a best employee, it must be appraised. And then we are saying this is a process where the employee is evaluated at least once a year and is given the performance of the appraisal. And then we are saying that the question that can arise there is to say, list the advantages of the performance appraisal. If ever the employee is working right, he must be given money, and it leads to the positive and the advantage within the organization. And then we are saying it contributes to the development and growth of the employee. Number 2, it identifies areas where training and development are needed. Number 3, it indicates whether the health of the employee is at risk in the job he or she is doing. The other one determines whether the employee was initially placed correctly. It makes the salary adjustment to salaries of the employee who deserves it. And the last one, it is established the most suitable official for promotion, and that it can be for 12 marks. Okay. As we are moving on again, there are other impacts that we need to engage to, and then we need to understand these better. If we are moving to point 3, and then we are saying that this question can be asked, and then if it can be asked in the examination, it's very important. And then again, 7.2, list the disadvantages of the appraisal method. Why people seeking for certain favors in officials, they use that. And number 2, a superior with the prejudice against an official will submit an unfair assessment. And then number 3, if is of little use, if the line management does not support it or the official will not be involved. And that is for 6 marks. Question 8, identify the requirements in the Schedule 8 of the Labor Act. Please take note, the Schedule 8 is where in the Labor Relation Act we deal with the what? With the Labour's Act. And then we are saying that with the regard to the disciplinary procedure, if ever you have made a crime, we are saying that there must be a disciplinary procedure that must be adhered to. We are saying number 1, that of the conduct required by the employee. Number 2, should be informal procedure for dealing with minor violation in the workplace. Number 3, employee should know that is serious and makes a continued employed relationship to be intolerable. And then number 4, before dismissal, the employer should consider factors such as the employee length of the services and the circumstances of the infringement. And then the other aspect, a fair procedure should be followed, which relates to the. And then if we are going on again, we are to see that the employee should be notified of the charge and given the reasonable time to prepare for his or her case, to obtain assistance, the time to state his or her own case, and then evidence of witness should be heard and considered effective justice. And then the employee is entitled to written reasons for his or her dismissal if it happens. Then we go to number 9. If we are going to number 9, the question would arise if ever we are to see of the successful candidate that you will receive the compensation. It is in terms of the direct and the direct compensation. So when we're talking about the direct employee receive as a wage or salary, and the total compensation, the sum of the total cash benefits and non-cash benefits. Cash benefits are salary allowances, housing bonuses, insurances, subsidies, medical aid, and pension benefits, while the non-cash include the use of the official car, of the free meals. And then lastly, we've got the non-compensation for the recognition of the performance when deserved performance awards. Number 10, give 4 reasons why an employee services can be terminated. How can this happen when the employee he reaches the age of retirement, which can be 55 to 65, and the employee becomes medically unfit to perform his own duty, when the employee voluntarily resigns, and when the employee is dismissed due to a misconduct. And that is for 8 marks. If we are going on again, we would see that 11 here, the act, it makes a provision. So the act here, it makes their provision, it provide for the collective bargaining. List the purposes for establishing a bargain council. And this question, it can be asked for 12 marks. To conclude and enforce the collective agreements. So collective agreements on what the workers agree collectively as a force. To prevent and resolve labor disputes and to perform disputes resolution function. And we are saying that these disputes, there are problems which can arise in the workplace. Control, a fund to be used to be resolved in disputes, to promote and to establish and administer the employee benefits such as the pension, and to consult with the workplace forums on matters such as restructuring of the workplace. Number 12, which is the last question. If we are seeing the question, it can arise. What process should be followed before the employee are allowed to strike? Number 1, the issue must be referred to the CCMA first. If the CCMA certify May as the 30 days to try to resolve the dispute, only if 30 days lapsed without the resolution, a strike will happen if 44, 48 hours or the employer's organization. If any of those requirements are not met, the illegal striking will occur, and that it is for 8 marks. So I'm saying, good people, ensure that you hit the subscription button and you are sharing that to others. At MATRIC+NATED Specialist, thank you very much for your time.